We thought we'd catch up now with Nick Walker from Cape Town Figure Skating. Nick, nice to have you on the line. How are things there with you?
Hi, JP. Thanks for having me. Yeah, things are going all right. Slowly getting back into the swing of things after the COVID lockdowns, and we're gradually building back up to where we were.
Yeah, Nick, talking about lockdown, of course, 6 months of things being quite difficult for everybody, not being able to train and not being able to see each other. Have you at least been able to be in touch with the athletes?
Yes, well, what a lot of our coaches have done is they've followed international trends and been doing a lot of online classes, particularly in the space of off ice, jump training, dance, and just general fitness and strength, just to keep the athletes not only in good shape but also engaged and yeah, still part of the sport. It's been difficult with the amount of skaters and the various coaches across all the provinces, etc. But yeah, we got to do what we got to do, and I think it has kept a lot of people in shape. And I think sometimes it's even has a good effect. A little bit of a break from the day to day. And we're seeing quite a few skaters coming back a little bit rusty to start, but otherwise strong and ready and very eager.
Um, Nick, of course, figure skating is ice-based. You have to be at an ice rink to do figure skating, and because it's ice-based and you need an ice rink, there's obviously not a lot of clubs in South Africa. But is that in essence how it works? Is that the club is always ice-based or ice rink-based?
Yeah, well, that's the biggest issue we have with the sport is an ice rink is an incredibly expensive thing, not only to build but to maintain. The running costs are exorbitant, electricity, water, and then maintenance costs as well.
Yeah.
So that is a big challenge we have. It's not something that's financially that viable as an investment. So for people looking to make money, it's difficult to convince them to put into building ice rinks. But we're very fortunate in the Western Cape. We have the Cape Peninsula Ice Skating Club. That's a non-profit organization that effectively owns and manages our ice rink. And they do so, as I said, it's a non-profit, so they're not out there to necessarily make money. So that does help keep the costs down. But unfortunately, there are just some costs that are inescapable, like energy costs. And yeah, but everything is being done to try and keep the sport as affordable, or as difficult as it is. But yes, definitely it would be impossible to run a effective club without an ice surface.
And of course, you have to share the facilities with other ice-based athletes, like, for example, ice hockey.
Yes, so well, ice hockey is another big sport that obviously uses the ice. We have to share. They've only recently come back after lockdown
Yeah.
because they're a contact sport, so they've had quite a rough road getting back in.
Yes.
But luckily for them, they're back now. And then of course, public skating, which effectively pays the bills, so to speak.
Yes.
That
Yes.
keeps the lights on. So we do have to share our space with the public, which is sometimes frustrating, but it's something we have to put up with because that's what keeps the cost down for our sport.
Do we see any athletes do crossovers between figure skating and, for example, ice hockey?
There have been over the years quite a few skaters that have transferred from one to the other.
Yeah.
When learning the basics of figure skate or the basics of skating at a very basic level, it's pretty similar. So there are a lot of kids that start out learning basics in the learn to skate clubs, and then at some point they decide to go over to figure skating or to ice hockey.
What's a sort of a good age for kids to start figure skating?
Well, effectively as soon as they can walk, if you really want to take advantage of it. It is an early development sport.
Yeah.
It is also an age-based sport. So the categories that they go up in are age-based, and that's an international thing. So if you want to start figure skating at the age of 15, you're going to be on seriously on the back foot compared to someone who started at the age of 5.
Obviously, we think of South Africa as a warm climate. It's sunny, it's shining. And many people might not even know that we have a category in South Africa called snow sports, where we have athletes who go to the Winter Games competing, in fact, in snow sports who come from South Africa. Is that a similar for figure skating?
Very much so. We have had skaters compete at the Winter Olympics in previous years. I think the most recent one was 1998, if I'm not mistaken, but it has been quite a while. We currently have 2 skaters from Western Province who are on an Olympic scholarship now. Jeanne Quinn Isaacs and Evan Wrench, female and male skater.
Yeah.
We also have other skaters, Matthew Samuels and Sonali Sango, 2 other men who also their hats very much in the ring to try and qualify for the Olympics. So we have at the moment we have 4 very good contenders to try and reach the Olympic Games.
Right.
And they're on a good track. Obviously, COVID has set everybody back, but they're determined. They're used to setbacks. They're used to challenges. So they'll just carry on as normal. And we support them all the way. Unfortunately, there's only a limited number of slots, and the qualification scores are extremely high. But we're pretty sure if anyone's going to get them, they will.
And how are we doing from a provincial perspective? Are we competing against the other provinces? Are we doing okay?
Yes. So in our country, we have 4 main figure skating provinces that are incorporated. We have the Western Province, obviously. We have KwaZulu-Natal, and then up in Gauteng, we have Gauteng North and Central Gauteng. Western Province is by far the largest of the figure skating groups of the provinces, and we generally tend to dominate the results as well, with most of our champions coming from Western Province. And at this stage, to add, all of our international skaters coming from Western Province as well.
No, that's fantastic. When we think of figure skating, we of course, in terms of the ice rink, we're talking about the actual club and the rink at Grand West Casino, right? At those premises.
Yes.
Right. And of course, it looks like great fun. I mean, in addition to the figure skating and looking at these fantastic athletes, you talk about the social side, and I'm getting the picture that if one wants to start skating, you can have quite a lot of fun doing both of these, enjoying a day at least a day skating socially with the music and the lights and everything, and then also doing the figure skating. So there looks like there's a lot of attraction for figure skating.
Yes, I think figure skating is one of those things where they say some things are easy to learn but difficult to master. I think figure skating is one of those. It's difficult to learn and difficult to master. Yes. But there's an entry point for everybody. The sport caters to everybody of all ages. Unfortunately, we've seen our adult sections dwindle over recent years, but we're hoping to get that going again, and that's more of a social aspect. One of the things that's very, very important in skating is development, not just as an athlete, but as a human being. And we have noticed that many of our athletes tend to be quite mature in their social interactions. They're used to dealing with people of all ages, from 6-7 years old right up till in their early 20s. They're dealing with adults in the form of coaches all the time. So we see that unlike in schools where you categorize into an age group, even though you're competing in age groups here, they're put together all the time. So they have to learn to live with each other, and we see quite a lot of respect towards each other from it.
That's fantastic. Nick, I'm assuming if people want to join Cape Town figure skating, they can go to your website, as we've been seeing it on the ticker line there, wpfigureskating.co.za. Have I got it right?
That's correct. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, because of COVID and the various rules and restrictions in place, a lot of our intake is not functioning at the moment. Our Learn to Skate clubs aren't operational yet because of the social distancing and the number of people. We're hoping to get that going very early next year. But people can continue to look at the website, follow us on social media. We have got Instagram and Facebook accounts, which you will find on the website. And we put all our updates there. So as soon as we know anything with what's going on going forward, or as soon as anything is more structured and planned, we'll advertise there.
That's great stuff. Nick, thanks very much. We'll leave it at that, and you guys stay safe out there, and we'll hopefully catch up again soon.
Great. Thanks so much, JP. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Nick. There we go, folk. Nick Walker, Cape Town figure skating. And if you want to find out more, just go and visit their website, www.wpfigureskating.co.za. Of course, at the moment, as he said, things are slightly restricted, but hopefully we'll start seeing some sort of reduction in those restrictions soon.